I would define stigma.
I would define stigma.
When I think of stigma,
I would define it as maybe something that triggers a bad experience that you had at one point in time, or maybe it's something specific, like you have a stigma for maybe this activity or something like that. Just something that triggers a bad experience that you might have had sometime in your life.
A negative bias or idea towards something, someone, or some group.
a generalization or a general idea that a lot of people share towards a topic or towards a group of people or towards just this idea. And it's usually pretty much a negative thought or feeling towards that topic or group. And it just makes people act differently and treat people differently because they have this thought that's not true, not necessarily true. And stigma is just something that it's hard to get rid of once you have that idea in your head, but it's something that can be very detrimental to a lot of people when they undergo that so often.
In one word, judgment. Stigma leaves people with a sense of feeling less than, a sense of somehow there's something wrong with them, that they are somehow weak or less than.
Stigma is when people make judgments or assumptions about things that people might struggle with. So like the idea that having mental health challenges means that you're unstable, or that if you need to ask for help that it makes you weak. So to me, those are ideas that come from a stigma where people make assumptions about people with mental illness and mental health challenges.
I think about it in terms of being a set of incorrect assumptions that are gathered to both limit and generalize, taking away someone's unique voice and experience by throwing everyone in the same box. For those that are stigmatized, we make them own that whole burden of proof that you really have to show that this is real. And unfortunately, that again just leads to greater barriers, less ability to combat, less ability to treat, and less ability to normalize. And so I think that's one of the biggest tragedies of what stigmas do, is really put the burden of proof on those that are being stigmatized.
Stigma is seeing someone as less than because of something about them. So in this case, we're talking about mental illness, and I think it's how some people view those with mental illness as less than or somehow worse than other people.
And when I think about stigma in relation to mental health, like others, I think of social stigma, which includes critical and prejudicial attitudes and discriminatory behaviors of others toward individuals with mental health issues. And if individuals internalize these public attitudes and perceptions of discrimination, they may experience another form of stigma called self-stigma. This can cause negative consequences such as shame and isolation. So the stigma created by others can have very real and damaging effects on those with mental health conditions.